So, good morning on day 4. That's 4 out of 14, not even anywhere near halfway through yet. I thought this morning I would talk a little bit about how I came to my daily food allowance figure, because a few people have asked and it's quite confusing. And it's so confusing, I checked it again this morning and the minimum income standard have slightly changed their figures, so I'm actually slightly off on my figure by 25 pence a day more I should have by my calculations, but we'll get to that in a minute. So when I first decided to do this, I thought I'll live on benefits for 2 weeks, but that proved impossible from the sense of I'm a middle-aged man, I have a mortgage, I have bills to pay, I have an agent to pay. I can't suddenly be like, oh sorry, I'll get no money for 2 weeks, I'm not paying anybody. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I know it's only 2 weeks, I could probably just about get away with it, but it's slightly scary. So I figured, what's the best I could do? I can live on the food allowance, the food allocation within that. So I decided I would look online on the YouGov thing, the website, where you can do benefits calculators and things, and find out what it is, how much you get for food as part of the job seekers allowance benefit. Impossible to find. So I have a few MSP friends, members of the Scottish Parliament, and some councillors, local government councillors. I asked them, and now bearing in mind this is what they deal with on a daily basis, I'm sure their casework will be based a lot around people who are on benefits and money because times are tight, people that need more money, people that don't have enough for this, XYZ. They couldn't give me a definitive answer either. It was like, I think it's supposed to be £5 a day for food, but I'm not really sure. Basically, no one knows. Now, the government haven't come up with £73.10, that's the weekly allowance on job seekers. They haven't just come out with that out of thin air. That'll be based on something. Whether it's based on any sort of reality, that's beside the point. I think it's not. But it will be divided up. They have to justify the figure somehow. They haven't just made it up. Unless, of course, it's as hideous as that. It's a figure that they can just about afford, so that'll do. You know, the government say, we've got this amount of money with this amount of people on benefits, kind of just hack it up as we decide, based on no real facts. Anyway, impossible to find out. So I had to do some research. So I went on to the minimum, let me just find the address for you, minimumincome.org.uk. Now they'll work out what you need for a basic standard of living. There's a little survey you fill in. So I ticked certain criteria: single man, no dependents, living alone. So that's the most basic you can get, really. Comes out, it says for a basic standard of living I need to earn, but it's a basic standard, 17,073 pence a year, which works out as £279.36 per week, is what they say I need. It says it here. So, £279.36 as opposed to £73.10 on job seekers. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not a laughable matter at all. However, on looking at the breakdown, because luckily the minimum income calculator, it gives you a good breakdown of where they get those figures from. There is, of course, rent added in here. Rent would be paid by job seekers. You would have some sort of housing benefit that would cover your rent. So that has to be deducted. They've made an allocation of £84.06 for rent. So taking that away from their weekly figure leaves them recommending £195.30 a week. So divide £195.30 by the job seekers allowance figure of £73.10 gives you 2.67. That means that job seekers is 2.67 times less than a minimum standard. Now, good, because they have this weekly outgoings broken down. They say for a basic standard of living for food you need £43.95. So take £43.95 and divide that by 2.67, which is my little times less sum, gives me £16.46 a week is the proportion, as best I've cobbled it together, of job seekers allowance for food. £16.46. Divide that by 7, it gives me £2.35 a day. Actually, it's not £2.10, £2.35 a day, which is laughable. A laughably small amount of money. My train into town cost, a return journey is £2.70. I mean, Anyway, and you know, I would use that daily. Well, I don't actually. I mean, I could use it daily, but I don't. I walk most of the places, but anyway, that's beside the point. Now, looking again at the minimum income calculator, there is actually a little section here called social and cultural activities. Now that is fantastic. I mean, it's fantastic it's actually there. They've taken it into account that people do need that for a basic standard of living. You need some sort of entertainment as part of your life. Spend that how you will, cinema, whatever, concert, going to a football match, I don't know, you know, saving up to go to something. But I mean, this is what people need, you know, they need to not be dehumanised. Will that be included in your job seekers allowance? Absolutely not. There'll be no money for entertainment as part of that figure, no percentage for entertainment, I would think. And of course, the figure that I've come out with for my thing, for my weekly allowance of £2.35 a day, is sort of budgeting that is included, because I haven't deducted that from the main figure from the MIS. So, second, this is like a maths lesson. I hope you're paying attention and taking notes. Starting again, taking that out, £279.36 a week, minus the £84.06 for rent, minus the £44.43 for cultural activities, gives a grand total of £150.87 a week. Divide that, so that's them, dividing that by the £73.10 comes out at 2.06 times less. That's quite a bit of a difference, 2.06 as versus 2.67. So, taking your £43.95 food allowance, divide that by 2.06, the new figure, gives you £21.33 a week, which works out at £3.05 a day. So I'm probably doing myself out of, like, at the moment, about £1 a day. But it doesn't seem in the spirit of the thing to get all sort of bogged down and that's an extra 10 pence here. No, it should be 5 pence more here. It's a bit penny pinching. But then maybe that is part of the culture. Maybe that is what happens to you when you have very little money. You are penny pinching. It's a horrible sort of pejorative term, penny pinch. It's had a negative connotation. What I mean is you're careful with your money. You're careful about how much you have, because I mean, you know, I would lose £1 down the back of the sofa, so would probably anyone here. You don't think twice about it. You shove it in the, I don't know, disabled dogs box at the local newsagent or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's nothing. You know, newspapers cost far, far, far more than that. But when you're living on hardly any money, that becomes meals, that becomes food, that becomes actually quite valuable. And then, so it was wrong of me to talk about penny pinching, but maybe that's what happens to you. You begin to think, whoa, look, that's me getting an extra 25 pence a day. Whoa, I'll be down the pub in no time. So I'm being flippant, of course. You know, it's a horrible, horrible reality for many people. And maybe that's a coping mechanism that I have for many things in my life. I'm quite flippant about things rather than being terribly serious, because there's a great amount of sadness in this world, really. So that's how I came to my figures. I wanted to also talk a little bit about the Citizens Advice Bureau. Citizens Advice Bureau, let's call them CAB, because it's easier than saying all that. They're one of your ports of call if you want to visit the Trussell Trust. Also your doctor. It depends on your area. It's different from area to area, but you need to go along and have something stamped, or have you have to fit a certain criteria before you can even be considered to get food from the trust. Now, if you went to the Citizens Advice and you are, let's have a scenario, you're on Job Seekers, you have debt that you're having to pay, and you've got people sending you horrible letters through the post, people knocking on the door for money, like council tax, you know, something like that. Actually, that's a point. Did you know, even on Job Seekers Allowance, on any benefit, you are not exempt from your council tax payments? You're not exempt from paying water or council tax ever. I thought you would be. I thought that would be paid. If they pay your rent, why don't they pay your council tax? They don't. Right, which, I mean, council tax is quite a lot of money. You're never exempt from that. You always have to pay. I think there's a certain reduction to it, but you always have to pay something. It's never free. I was a bit surprised when I saw that. Anyway, you go to the CAB office. They do an income and outgoings checkbox to see where you are with your money, so that they can then budget how much you can pay to your debtors. That's how it works. They're going to come up with a negative figure, because what they're going to do is they are going to add in things like oh, you would need some sort of paper a week, so that's £2. You need something for your life. You need some sort of cultural activity, let's say a cinema trip a week, a cinema trip a fortnight, £10. You know, they will add that sort of thing in, but that isn't included in the money the government give you in the first place. So at the end of it, they come out, they go, oh, you're in negative equity. No fucking shit. Sorry for the language. Of course I'm in negative equity. You know, I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. You know, it's a no-brainer. So I have one real-life example for you. Everyone will remain nameless because it's very wrong of me to mention names. But I know someone who got into a little bit of financial strife, and they were on job seekers for a time for a whole variety of reasons. They had to go to the Citizens Advice, and it came out, you know, I can't remember the exact sum, but it was like negative £20 a week. They say you're down negative £20, and they say, but you will have to give your creditor something. So they sent this off. The creditor was like, absolutely not acceptable. The creditor, the person they owed the money to, was the council. So this is out of the same pot that give you the money in the first place. So what they give with one hand, they're grabbing back with the other. So they say, you have to pay something. It's not acceptable that you pay nothing towards this debt that you owe us. It was council tax arrears. So they wanted £5. So that then makes you negative £25 a week. I mean, it's unbelievable. So then what you're doing is you're borrowing. So what you do, I mean, ultimately this is the trick of borrowing. I borrow from you, and then you need your money back. So I borrow from a second friend, and then I give you the money from the second friend, then I only borrow from that friend. And then come another couple of weeks when I need to pay back that other friend, I borrow from you again. So basically I'm just passing money around. You know, you've got a few people, so technically I'm never paying it back. I'm just pushing it from place to place, hoping for the best. And that is incredibly stressful. People who have lived a life like that and just think, well, that's just reality, don't think it's stressful, but that's because they know nothing else. You get out of that cycle and you have a life where you're not owing money to people, and you're not always worried about, God, am I damaging that friendship by owing that? I feel like such a sponger. You get yourself into that situation, then you know what stress-free is, but they have no experience of it. You know, I mean, it's utterly appalling. Yeah, I'm just noticing here as well, and my brain has gone, on this weekly outgoings here from the MIS, they have an allocation for alcohol a week, £4.82 in alcohol. I'm not sure about the message that's sending out. Alcohol is important to a basic standard of living within Britain. You must have alcohol every week. You're not allowed to be teetotal. No, because there's VAT to be paid on that. There's tax. There's income for the government on alcohol. So drink up, baby. Yeah, I'm digressing. Yeah, so I think I've explained how I've come to that. You can re-watch it should you wish, but I'm not diddling anyone. It's still a pittance. I've changed my figure on my Just Giving page to £2.35 because it's just my sums at the very end let me down. I was doing it on the go. I think I was in Amsterdam actually, and I was doing it on the aeroplane. No calculator, just working out in my head with the figures, and evidently I got it wrong. Well done. So I've adjusted that. So today, I have to work today, so I'm going to sign off now. Packed lunch it is, and I probably won't do my usual little photo grid of my dinner, lunch and everything, because I'll have it on the go and frankly, rank. But tomorrow I'll be back, and I'm working from home again, so there'll be photos and updates. But thank you very much for all your support, financial support. Keep giving. Well, get other people to give, don't obviously give again, that's rude. And I hope that that's sort of clarified it a little bit. Right, bye.